everyone. Welcome to Love and Life Sorted. I'm Dr. Sandy Toe, and it's the end of the year. I'm thinking that it's the perfect time to do a reset. Yeah, everyone needs a reset, I think, at some point in their lives. And what better time to do it than the end of the year? Yeah, so it's December, and next month it will be a new year. So it's time for us to look back and, have a look at our jobs and our lives and our relationships and to see what we could do better or how we can improve upon them. And is there anything that we want to bring forth to the next year, or we want to leave behind, or we want to change? Right? So, what better time to do this than now? Right. So I recently went to a really meaningful workshop. It's called Designing Your Life. So, designing your life, what is it about? To be honest, before I went to this workshop, I had no idea and I kept an open mind. And my friend told me that, well, it's perfect for you because you're doing like a career pivot, right? You're changing careers or you're mid-career and you're trying to find out the next step and how to go about it. And this is the perfect workshop for you. And it's like the pilot Hong Kong workshop happening now. And you're gonna be one of the pioneering like pilot participants. So I was like, yeah, great, like bring it on. I had no hesitation about it. Well, I'm the type that like I'm really open to try new things. The more that I don't know about it, the happier I am. The more like it's less stressful. It's like think about it. It's like zero stress. You'd have no preparation, and you can just like jump into it with an open mind and to have like the expectation to learn new things, right? So what can be more perfect than that? Yeah, so I was like, okay, great. I don't even have to read the book to know what it's about. I can just go and get inspired, right? And it's exactly what I came out with. Okay, so after the workshop, it's exactly what transpired. Yeah, I was like very inspired because I there was a workshop of 12 people, and it's instructed by Stephen, Edna, Jane, and Becca. They were really great instructors, very supportive and very inspirational. And yeah, first of all, I want to jump in first to talk about what this designing your life workshop is based on. So it's based on actually a book by two Stanford professors, Bill Burnett and Dave Evans, and they've written a New York Times bestselling book. It's called Designing Your Life, and they've gone on to write other variations of it, helping people to basically find the right idea of work for them so that they would be satisfied and something that aligns with their lives as well. So work and personal lives, find the alignment and find the satisfaction and find the productivity and the creativity that you need. And why is it called designing your life? Because it really is modeled on the way that designers think. Yeah, so actual designers, like they have a particular way of dealing with problems, with problem solving, and to find out a way that's actually constructive and practical, and that works and delivers, right? Okay, so it is actually not some sort of it's beyond, I would say, like new age or spirituality or sort of the things that you sometimes encounter when you're looking to change your life or to improve your life. A lot of things we encounter are self-help self-help is very motivational, but sometimes self-help natured works, they don't have very actionable steps to devise a strategy, I would say. Yeah, so I'm not saying that the like a lot of motivational work is not useful or practical, but yeah, I mean, it's very nourishing for the soul, of course. And yeah, I read a lot of those too. I'm a self-confessed self-help junkie. I've been reading motivational books my whole life. Books by Deepak or books by like Rhonda, the Secret, and those books, and about manifestation. And yeah, I've learned a lot about those, and I really have been like nourished deep down, and like finding a lot of self-fulfillment. But I think that this designing your life is something that I haven't come across, because it really is modeled on how designers work. And yeah, a lot of designers, they really tackle problems by very actionable strategies, and this is how like adapted to your work and life. Yeah, so this is how the Stanford workshop has adapted it to help you strategize having a more fulfilling work and life. And I'm saying this because it is called designing your life. It's not called like designing your job or designing your career, but it is called designing your life because I think it encompasses your actually, the workshop is called designing your work life. Yeah, sorry. So it actually does embody both aspects, because in order to be fulfilled, I think at a deep level, your work has to be attuned with your life, with your personal life. So the workshop was asking us to think of our work views and our life views, and in order to see if these align in our lives, right? So what is actually working and not working, or bringing you down, or like sort of draining the energy out of you, or what is most fulfilling, right? So yeah, I think it was a good exercise to begin with before the workshop, so for us to think of it in this perspective, right? So when we start to feel unfulfilled, it's because usually that our work is becoming draining. It's draining our personal lives. It's eating into it, not in a good way. It's making us maybe lose our time, our valued family time, or our valued hobby time, right? It's eating up into our personal lives, and it's making us in that sense, it's making us like either like guilt ridden or unfulfilled, or just thinking that, well, it's called overworking. Yeah, basically it's called overworking, I guess, and not in a good sense, not bringing the fulfillment that we want, because it's like eating up our personal lives. And the other sense is that we might be like losing perspective, why we worked in the first place, why we had our like why we're working in our jobs in the first place. Maybe we were looking for something before, but why we need a reset is because how it was significant before might not be why it's significant now, or why it's lost some of its halo, its significance along the way. If we don't look into it, we will become basically unsatisfied with the work, because it's, first of all, it's not energizing, and it's not fulfilling, and it's lost its significance along the way, right? So that's why it's important to do a reset. So this workshop is what it's all about, having you look into whether your work is still significant as before, or whether it's aligning with your lifestyle perspectives, whether it's aligning with your personal life, basically. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, so imagine that it's not aligning, because I think at this mid career, like the people who came to the workshop, they were all, I would say it's either mid career, we're trying to pivot to do something else, or we're trying to maybe redefine our work right now, right? So seeing if it's still significant, having worked for quite a while, developed the skills, we want to see where it's going next and whether it's the right step, right? So it's either that, or it's maybe near retirement, like towards the end of your career, and you're trying to look to do something else that's significant, that's not necessarily a paying job, or it might be just something related to bringing more meaning into your life or other people's lives, or to society in general. So yeah, so there's that type of person going into the workshop, or it's mid-career person going into the workshop. So it's really, really interesting. It sort of forces us to do a lot of inner work, soul searching. And so, yes, like how to think like a designer. So a designer always uh, they problem solve by that designing a prototype, right? So they don't jump into something, an idea, but they brainstorm many ideas, and they never use the first idea. Yeah, so it's important that you have to learn how to discard your first idea, because you build upon it and you improve, and then you have to be bold enough to cast it away, and to believing that something better will transpire as you get more inspired along the way, more ideas, and to build upon it, right? So yeah, that is one thing, like key takeaway that I learned, is that don't hold on fast to like an original idea, thinking that you're this is all you've got, this is, I'm never gonna have anything better, so I'm holding fast to it for dear life, right? So that's like a sign that you're not confident in yourself, you're not believing in yourself, right? So you have to take very bold moves. I think like designers, like they take very bold moves, I noticed, very broad strokes, like painters, writers, they're not afraid to discard their original painting, or their sketches. Yeah, so they have like maybe a 10 like thousand sketches before they actually embark on the actual thing that they're happy with. And writers as well. People always say like you never publish your first novel. It's always sort of something as look at it as being an experiment, something that you could always improve upon and do better. Yeah, so I really identify with that, like being a writer, because I've throughout so many years, I've done the novel writing experiment for I think like no less than 10 times. I've written like I guess like five different drafts of a very similar thing, but like over 20 years. Yeah, since I was young, I started upon it, and I've written like 10 chapters of one, and then I just discarded it. And then next time, maybe the next year I would start again on this very similar topic, on the same topic actually, but I would write something new, but I would look at the 10 chapters that I've written maybe last year, and then I'll try to improve upon it. Yeah, so I keep like, I think, repeating and repeating, and try to get better at the craft. So yeah, it is actually inherently what I have done actually as a writer. And I'm sure, very sure, that all artists, like people who draw, who paint, like they discard so many different versions of the same thing too, in order to derive at the thing that they're most satisfied with. Yeah, so one thing is I've learned from this is to not be afraid of failure, but to move forward with it, to learn from it and move forward. So it's not actually called a fail, but a forward. I think that's more edifying. Yeah. And so it was so great because in the workshop I met so many like-minded creatives. So there were people, yeah, there was like one like amazing artist, like she was so bold. I think this move to quit her job and to become a full-time artist. Yeah, so that is like really bold, and I really admire that. And one thing that I really identified was that we both work alone because she was saying that an artist is actually a very lonely endeavor because maybe she had worked in a corporate environment and there were many people involved. Like there, work. She was used to working in teams with a lot of people, and same here as me. Like when I was teaching, I was surrounded by colleagues and students, and you would always like bump into someone in the corridor and you would just have a casual chat. It was like so common. But when you're working alone, like writing or painting at home or a studio, it's just a completely singular endeavor, right? So it is a very lonely endeavor. And we do need that aloneness to I guess to derive our ideas, right? But sometimes we also crave like the human contact, I think. And the thing about design, like how designers work, is that they always work in teams, and it's never it's never something that you're doing by yourself. You're always trying to, like, even if you have this great idea, this great concept, even the biggest designers in the world, of course they have this one big vision, but it's always carried out by a team, right? So it's impossible for one person, a one man band, uh to to bring out this endeavor to the world. It's always carried out by like a whole team of people. So I think we can learn from that is like if we feel that we need to reach out, we need to ask for help, we should do it. Yeah, even though what you're doing may not involve those people directly, like say you're well, if you're a writer, I think that you do have, well, your agent, like if you found an agent, like you would always sometimes go to them for moral support, right? So even if they're not working actually alongside you, you're trying to get some moral support. And from maybe beta readers, like there's people who read your work for you to see if it identifies with a wide audience. And yeah, those people, giving you back feedback, or, they may be your friends, or they may just be beta readers you found on your own that don't know you, who are completely objective about your work. So I think the same thing as artists and creatives. They, like, sometimes when you're working all alone, you tend to get a bit like you lose some of your objectivity. Yeah, so and it's maybe important to, maybe show your work or consult someone who may not be related at all to your endeavor or your industry. But you'd be surprised, actually. You'd be surprised the inspiration that you might get from a layperson, a complete outsider. And this is what I actually thought, like that I actually encountered in my experience with in this workshop, because a lot of like-minded individuals, they're all creatives, but they were not doing anything exactly like what I was doing. Yeah. So people are doing like maybe writing about different things, even if they do write, or they're speakers about different subjects, or they're still working in corporate, or they're doing entirely different things that are creative in their respect. And I just found that to be quite interesting when you throw ideas upon each other. You brainstorm ideas, you bounce ideas off each other, especially when we were doing our so-called prototypes. We were actually bouncing ideas off each other. We were asking for opinions. Yeah, basically we wrote down, on it's a huge sheet of paper to be pinned up on a board, about like a problem that we encounter in our future endeavor, or something we're working on now but needs to be improved. And we just asked like the whole room to contribute their ideas. And these are all like lay people, not directly related to our industry. And you would be amazed at how many ideas we can spin out of that and be inspired from. I mean, to look at a problem from a different perspective, and you would be amazed that, the objectivity that comes from it, and you could actually solve it in a manner that you never thought would be possible before. Okay, so that leads me to talk about like I think the most important takeaway from the workshop is no judgment. Yeah, so sometimes we're so afraid of sharing our ideas because we're afraid of facing judgment, right? Yeah, sometimes like when you speak about something, people would immediately say, "Oh, I don't think that works," or "Are you sure?" or "That's not gonna work." I mean, or something like that, and you just feel so discouraged that you don't want to share again, right? So you're discouraged from this experience, and you're just thinking, nah, I'm just gonna keep it to myself, and I'm not gonna share it with someone else for fear of embarrassment or something. But designers, they're really bold. Like they just throw out their ideas, and they don't judge. They've learned that like you should build like they've learned that it's not constructive to cut people off or to just like shut people down. It's more constructive to build upon an idea. So no matter how out of this world it seems, but that's how designers are, right? Like they think big and bold and out of the ordinary. Like that's how great works like evolve. Great designers, they think outside the box, and they think in really bold strides, and they don't care what other people think. Yeah. So mavericks, they just go about their thing, and they don't care about what other people think, right? The world's greatest designers. And that is how they succeed, by maybe failing 1,000 times. And well, it's called forwarding, I would say, like forwarding instead of failing, learning. And then they sort of reach an epiphany, and then like their work goes like wildly successful, because they were willing to make the stride, and they were willing to ward off other people's judgments, right? And so, well, I think they were also lucky because they maybe had a team that they didn't judge unconstructively. Yeah, so constructive judgment is different from judgment per se. So, I would say that like people building upon other people's ideas, no matter how out of the out of the ordinary it is being constructive and not judging. Right. So next time, I mean, when you are thinking about having a career pivot, or having like or thinking of resetting your work and life, maybe at the end of the year, like now, yeah, it's a perfect time. So whether you're mid-career, or you're entering retirement, or you're maybe just entering into your profession, I think it's worthwhile to like check out the designing your life concepts. Yeah, whether it's the book that will teach you a few, tricks of the trade, or joining one of these workshops somewhere in the world, as they do throw a lot of these. especially in the US. Yeah, so I've learned a lot, and I'm really proud to be like a pioneering pilot of this group in Hong Kong. And I really hope that it can be released to more people who need it in the future. Yeah, so they can do like a work-life reset and to think about whether, their work and their life is aligning, and to think along, really useful strategies, useful, workable, and actionable strategies, step by step of, learning how to uh, work like a designer. Yeah, so it was very useful, very different from like other self-help books I've encountered. And I strongly recommend you checking out the concepts that this designing your life has to offer. Yeah, so I wish everyone a very happy work life and personal life fulfillment on both fronts, and to wish that you can find alignment on these two areas, which will really vastly improve upon your life on the whole. Yeah, and I hope that I did this workshop and its teachings and concepts justice. All right, so if you need any important links, they're all in the description of the podcast. All right, so see you again next time on Love and Life Sorted, and we'll sort life again, okay? One chat at a time. And remember to hit subscribe so that you don't miss an episode.